Hey all of you, welcome back once again. So this is where we left in the last video. In the last three video, we have built the backend part, we have built the basic functionality in our context management, and we have built the authentication and all of that. So if you haven't watched the last three video, make sure to watch it. In this video, we're going to start working on our trade token. So this is where we left, and that's what we're going to work on. Let me make it side by side so we can work on our front end part. Let's drag it here and click on this trade token. So this is the component we're going to work on it. So what I'm going to do is let's work on the functionality first because we have to get the data from our local storage and that's what we're going to render. So first thing we have to do the internal import. Let's call this, and this is coming from our index footer. Now once we have that one, we can come here and we're going to import the use state and use of it because we have to get the data from the local storage. So let's take the variable, we'll call it search. Then we'll take this another one. This will say search item because we are allowing user to search through the token. Then we have to put this tokens. It's gonna be an array type. Then we have to take this called copy token, and it's going to be an array type. So these are the state variable. Let's take one more, and this one we'll call this trade token, and it's going to be an object. Then we can come here, we'll take another one. This is called active state. So these are the state variable we have. Now this looks good. Come down here. Now we have to build and get the information from the local storage. So we're going to call this use effect hook, and we'll take a variable called token list. We'll get into the JSON dot parse local storage dot get item, and this is the key pair we have given, set tokens. And once we have the data of all the token which user will store, so that's what I will get. And now we have to simply replicate this one, and this time we have to look for the token pair and change this to token pair, and now we have to simply store this to our state variable. So let's take this set trade token to our token pair, and now we have to simply set tokens to token list, and at the end we can simply copy and pass the same thing in our copy token as well, token list, so we can make that filter. So this is what we are doing exactly. We are getting the token, all the token list which user have stored, and we are getting the token pair, and then we can store in the state variable so we can display and provide the filtration. So that's the hook we have, which is ready. This is good. Now we can come back here. Let's console log out the entire array we'll get. So we'll call it, let's say, token lists. So once we have all of this data, now we can simply come down here and we have to build the functionality for the search. So let's call this one const on handle search. So this function we're going to trigger when the user will type on the input field, and on the base of the type we have to filter the tokens. So let's call this value. That's what we're going to pass it, and here we have to simply take a variable called filter tokens. We'll take this tokens, and we have to call this method filter, and we have to filter based on the name. Let's call this network, and here we have to simply take this network dot to lowercase. We have to convert that name into lowercase, and then we have to simply include and check in the data. So we'll say include, and we have to pass the value, and we have to convert this to a lowercase. So in that way what will happen, it's going to match the name with the provided name, and the name is coming from the array. So once we're done with that, now we have to simply come here. We'll take this if filter tokens length, means if it's equal to 0, then we have to call this set tokens to the copy tokens, else we have to simply pass this one. So we'll say set token to filter token. So if the user have not searched anything, then we have to simply display the entire token. Otherwise we have to match in the name, and we have to display the relevant name of the token. So this is the very first function we have. Close this one, come here. Let's take another variable called on clear. So when the user will remove all the text from the input field from the search, then we have to render something. So in that we're not going to receive anything. All we have to do is to check for a condition. We'll say if token dot length and copy tokens dot length exist, then we have to simply pass this set token to copy token, and that's a very simple function. Now we can come back here. We have to take this use hook, and here we're going to attach the function when the user will make any changes and try to type something. So let's take this one, and in that we have to simply call this. We'll take a variable called timer, set timeout, and it's going to take a callback function. So in that we have to simply provide, let's say, set search. In that we can simply set the search item which user is typing, and we have to define the time. So 1 second, sorry. So this is the timer we have. Now we have to simply return, and I can simply remove this set timer to clear timer, and in that I can simply pass that timer, and I want to call this every time there is a change in the search item. So that's a very simple hook and the function we have built. So this is the one, this is the first use effect, then this is the one we have, this is the on clear, and this is the hook. Now once we're done with that, now we can come here, we'll take another use effect, and in that we have to simply call the function. So we'll say if search is there, then we have to call this on handle search function, and then we have to pass the search because that's what we have to receive in the function. Else we can run this particular one called on clear search. So this will render the entire token list, and in that we have to simply pass the search item. So that's the function we have. Pretty simple, not that complicated. Now we can come back here. Let's take a variable called select token, and we have taken this particular variable because all the token will render, and we are allowing user to select the token which they want to use as a trade. So let's build the function for selecting that token. So it's going to be a normal function. All we have to do is to take this local storage, get set item, and we have to give the token pair. So this is the pair key value, and we can simply pass the data. We'll say JSON stringifier, and in that I can pass this trade token which user have selected. So that's pretty simple. Now if I come back in the home page, looks good. If I go back to the trade, and that looks fine. Now what I'm going to do is, instead of working on the trade token, let's work on the token exchange. So before we start working on the JSX, let's do one thing. Let's start working on the top exchange token because it's going to have the similar structure, and we already have the data. So let's start working on it. So this is the one which we're going to work now, and it's going to have the same search feature we have built, so user can search it. So looks good. Now let's try to import the same thing. So we can come back here. Let's import the use context, use effect, and use state. Here we can come here. Let's do the internal import, and we're going to simply import the footer, and that's coming from our context index. And then we have to simply import the context. Let's go out of that, go to the context, and we have to go to the context. In that we have this context which has all the details, all the functionality, and all the data. So looks good. Now we can come back here, and what I'm going to do is, let's take a context, and we can get it. We'll say use context, and that we have to simply pass the context. Let's come back and go to the context. In that we have the data. So like this is the function which we have to work, load initial data. So let's make on the big screen, and let's work on this particular function. So this is what we're going to work on it, and with this will allow us to give us all the top 20 tokens which are there in the Uniswap protocol, and that's what we have to fetch. So let's take a couple of variable. We'll take this use effect and use state, and we'll take this top tokens. It's going to be an array. Then we have to take the another variable called, let's say, trading count, and this will allow us to count how many trades we are doing. So we can simply display in the front end, and we can display and render the component. So by default it will be 0. Now we have to take another use state, and this will call loader, and by default it will be false. So we have all of these 3 variable we have taken. Now we have to work on the functionality. So let's take a variable called let length, and this is the one we're going to update it and use as external variable. Now we can start working on the load initial data. So this one is going to be a quite interesting one. So this is good. Now I want you to come back in the browser and simply reload the page. let's make on the small and reload the page. So far things are looking pretty good. If I come back to the token exchange, we don't have anything. And now what I have to do is open up a new tab, and we're going to use the Uniswap data provider. So open a new tab and type Uniswap subgraph, and not v2, we're going to use v3 because that's the updated one. So let's type v3, hit enter, and you will come to this very first link. Click here, and here you will find all the data about the Uniswap protocol, including the pools, tokens, all of things you can find. And here they have given the endpoint on which you can make the call. So make sure to come and create your account, and you can see this is the ID, this is the GitHub, and this is the HTTP endpoint, and we're going to use this get method. So this is the endpoint we have to receive. So we are getting the name of the token. You can simply make a call and you will have all of these details. So this data is free, it's not going to cost you anything. So this is really good. You can simply play with different data types and different type of structure. That's all is given here. So I'm going to take this string. You can check example query what you will have here, but I'm interested in this particular string. Simply copy that one, and that's what we're going to utilize it. And that we have to build a query that what exactly data we want. So let's take this particular string. So I'll come here, we'll take this variable called URL, and I'm going to paste it. And now comes the most important part. You have to build a query which you're going to pass into this request. So we'll take this call and we'll say query. In this query, you have to define that what data you want to take about the token, because we are looking for the token data. So first thing I'll say, I'll define a couple of variables. So I'll take this token because I need tokens. That's why I've given this tokens. In that I have to mention that what are the things I want. So first thing is going to define the order. So I'm going to have the order by volume in USD. Then I'm going to have the order by direction, and I'll say description. This stand for description. And the last one is going to be that how many tokens you want to display. I'm going with 20. You can display with 100. It's totally up to you. So this is the variable you have to pass in the token parameter. And now you have to define all the data you want about a single token. So let's try to define that. So first one is going to be the ID of the token. That's the first. Then name. Then we have to assign symbol. Then we have to assign the decimal. Then we have to assign volume. Then we have to assign volume USD. Then total supply. Then we have fee USD. Then we have transaction count. Then we have the pool count. We have the total value locked USD. Then we have total value locked, and this is what we have. Let's try to check the spelling. It's simply copy this one and provide this, remove this E, and looks good. Now we have to provide the drive ETH. So these are the query we have to assign into the endpoint, because I want to have all the details about a single token. So that looks good. That's the query is ready. Now we have to simply make the request. Now I'm going to take this call, this XCS data, because I'm using XCS. You can use fetch method as well, and we'll say await XCS, and we have to simply post the URL, and we have to assign the query in the request. So it's going to give us the response. So once we have the response, we have to set the data into our state variable. We'll take this set token stop tokens, and that I can get this XCS data. I have to get into the data, then I have to get into the data, then I have to take the tokens. So this is how I'm accessing the data. If I do the console log to show you that what exactly I'm getting, so let me do that. So let's come here. Now we have to simply call this particular function whenever the page loads. So I'll take this initial data and I'm going to simply call this one. So this is the exact thing you have to do. Now come back here. If I reload the page, no issue we have. If I do the inspect element, let's make this side by side so we can see. And here I'm getting some sort of error. It say cannot read properties of undefined token. Okay, maybe the query I'm passing, there is some problem. The rest would be fine. So this error is coming from the request we are making, context 41. So now I see the problem where I made this particular mistake. So this is fine. The problem I'm having is, this is also look good, so no issue we have. And what I can do is, let's comment this one and let's try to reload one more time. And here I'm getting the data. If I open that, inside that I will have the details that what exactly went wrong. So if I open that one, here we have the data. If I open that, in that I will have this error, and it says that we have this two error. So it's a name, so I have given the wrong field name. So it has field name to value locked. So let's drag it here to see what is the name. It's called value locked. Okay, it's a spelling mistake. So now I can simply come and you can change this. So let's remove this and we'll say total value valu value locked USD. So this is what I have to type. Simply copy, and we have to do the exactly here as well. And this is fine. Now if I reload, I'll get the data. You can see I got the data and I have all the data. So I have all the 20 tokens which I have defined, all the details. If I open in that, you will find the decimal point, derivative, ETH, fee, ID, name, count. That's all I will find. So once I have the data, I can simply enable this. And if I simply paste here, you can see I'll have the data only. So this is the 20 error we have got. All the tokens looks pretty fine. So this is good. We got the data, and now we can simply render this data in our front end. So that looks pretty good to me. Now what I can do is, so this is the one we have, in that we have all the tokens. Simply copy, and that what we have to export from here. So we can receive in our component. Simply copy that one. And now we have to come back in the top exchange token, and we have to receive this particular variable which contain all the data. So once we have that data, now we can, let's make it side by side so we can see what exactly we are working on. So let's close this one and let me reload. And this is where I am. Let's make it side by side, drag it here. So that looks good. Now we can come back here in the trade token, and we have already built all the functionality for the search. So we have to simply copy. So this is what I'm going to take it, the entire state variable, and I'm going to paste here, state variable. So we got the state variable, and here I'm going to need few things. I'm going to simply take this is what I have, and I don't want to display this active state and trade token. Remove that, and this is fine. So these are the 4 state variable we need. Pretty good. And once we're done with that, so we have the search, because we are providing the search functionality as well. So these are the 2 things we're going to have it. And here I can pass the top token. Okay, straight away you can pass. Do the same thing for the copy token as well. So we have the data. Now we can come back here. We have to get this search features. So simply copy this portion, and that's what we have to paste here. So looks good. Now this is what I have here. Simply copy that one, and we have the token which is already given. We have the use effect and use state. So everything looks good. No need to do any changes. If we find we need to do any changes, we definitely do that. So that looks good. This is fine. Now we can start working on our JSX. So let's come here. Let's take a class. It will have a tech web dash fn dash content. There it is. You can see top exchange token. Inside that, remove this one. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called tech web dash fn dash page. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called tech web fn dash community page. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called fan dash dash title dash holder. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called container. Inside that, we'll take a h2. It will have a class called title, and we have to display our text called top tokens. There it is. And let's change this to h1, and that's good. Now we can simply come out of it, and now we can take a div. It will have a class call take web dash fn dash feed. We'll take a div, it will have a class called container. Inside that, we'll take a div, it will have a class called feed dash dash filter. Inside that, I'll take a div, it will have a class called filter dash dash search. Inside that, we'll take an input field, type is going to be text, and I'll say placeholder is going to be search token, and it will have a on change function. In that, we have to simply call this particular function. So this is the function we have built called set item. In that, we have to simply pass this e.target.value. So all we have to do is to update the set item, and that will pass down to the function we have built. So that's what we have here. Now on that, we have to assign the value. So its value is going to be the search item. So this is fine. Now we can come here, we'll take a anchor, and we do need to redirect anywhere. So we'll take a class called TechWeb, and we'll have a button TechWeb dash fan dash button. And now we can simply give the name of the button. So we'll take a span, it will have a search. There it is. So that's the input and search button we have. So we got with that search. Now once we're done with that, what I can do is, so this looks fine. Now we have to simply come here, leave 3 div after the anchor, and we can start working on the body component. So we'll take a div, it will have a class called tech web dash fn dash pricing. Inside that, we'll take a div, it will have a class called container. Inside that, we'll take a div, it will have a class called pricing dash dash tabs. Inside that, we'll take a div, it will have a class called pricing and dash dash tab and active. So pricing dash dash tab is a different class and active is a different class. Inside that, we'll take a mobile, because we have 2 different types of component, and that's the strategy we are following in almost every single component. One component is for the mobile device and the other one is for the desktop. So this one is going to be the mobile one. Simply comment this one, and I can bring it down, and I'll take a div, it will have a class called fn dash dash mobile pricing. Inside that, I'll take a div, it will have a class called pricing dash dash items. Inside that, I'll take a div, it will have a class called, let's say, pricing dash dash items dash header. Let's call it holder. Okay, holder, holder, holder. Inside that, we have to take a we can take a div, it will have a class called, let's say, pricing dash dash item dash heading. Inside that, we'll take a h2, it's going to have a class called title, and we have to display our message called to top 20 tokens. If I save it, you can see there it is. Looks fine, but there is a problem in our text. Why it's so big? Okay, we have to see. So let's continue ahead, and I can see what's the problem. So here is the problem. Price dash dash item, it's 2 dash. So give one more, and there it is. Looks fine. So that's the top 20 tokens. Now we can simply come out of that div, and we can start taking, let's say, take a div, it will have a class called pricing dash dash item dash list. Inside that, we'll take our dynamic block. So we already have the data. Now we have to simply render that. So we'll take this tokens, and I can take this map, we'll take this token index, and it's going to be an instant return. And we'll take a div, let's close the div, it will have a class, and let's call this class pricing dash dash item dash list dash item, and it will have an index, so sorry, key. So we'll pass the index. There it is. We got a nice box. In that, we're going to simply render all our component. So we got our main div. Now we can come inside the div, and we'll take a, let's say, h4. It will have a on click function, and we have to simply do one thing. So when the user will click, we have to allow them to copy the address of the token. So let's take this navigator dot clipboard dot write text, and we have to simply provide the token ID. There it is. So once we got this h4, And let's apply the classes. So we'll take this title. So we got this, and now we have to simply render the token name. So we'll take this token name, and there it is. We got all the token and their name is displaying. And let's give some space. So this is the HTML space tag I'm using. It's called and NBSP comma. So this is the HTML space. Simply copy and paste here, and then I'm going to simply render the icon. So the copy clipboard icon. So I'll take this FAG copy. So maybe I have not imported this icon. So let's come on top and let's import this from React icons. So we'll take this import, and it's coming from React icon slash FA6, and this is the name of the icon. Looks pretty good. So come back here, make on the big screen, and looks pretty fine. So finally we got all this particular icon, which you can see the user can click on the icon, they can simply copy the token address. Pretty good. So once we're done with that, now we can come back and take a p tag. It will have a class called dis. Inside that we have to display the token dot total supply. So there. So on mobile device we are displaying only these two information: address, name, and the address user can simply copy, and we are displaying the total supply. But on the desktop mode we have to display more information. So this is the entire mobile component. So looks pretty fine, no issue we have so far. So let's format this, and now we have to start working on the desktop. So let's call this desktop. I'll call it desktop, and it's going to be quite similar, but we have to do the changes in the stylings. So we'll take a div. It will have a class called pricing dash dash content. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called pricing dash dash heading. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called item. Inside that we'll take a span. It will have a class called title. Inside that we'll take the top 20 tokens. Let me show you that we are working absolutely fine. So this is good. Let's come down here. So let's do one thing. Let's bring this to C. Let's do the inspect element, make it side by side, and let's make on the big, and there it is. This is how it's going to look on the desktop. I hope you guys can see that. So this is the 20. Now let's come here. We'll take a div. It will have a class called item wide, and there is a line you can see. Let's come down out of this div, and now we have to work on the body. So we'll take a div. It will have a class called pricing dash dash fields. Inside that we'll take a dynamic block, and we'll take the token, and that's what we have to render. So we'll take this map token index. It's going to be an instant return. Inside that we'll take a div. Let's close that one, and it will have a class. Let's call it item dash row. Inside the div we have to take a div. It will have an on-click function, and we have to follow the same logic. So we'll say navigator clipboard write text, and we have to allow them to copy the ID. Inside this div, let's assign a class to this particular div. It will have a class called item dash dash call. Inside this we have to take a, let's say we'll take a so this looks good. Now we have to take a span. It will have a class called heading dash text. Inside that we can display the token name, and we have to simply slice it down to 0 to 12 characters. We don't want to display the entire big string. We want to limit it that. So that's what I have, the name. Now I can display the HTML space tag. So let's provide one more. Once we have that, now we can display our copy token. So there it is. Pretty good. Now we can come back here. We'll take a div. It will have a class called item column. Inside that we'll take a span. It will have a class called option dash text. In that we can display the data. So we'll take this token dot total supply. There it is. Now pretty good. What I can do is now I can simply replicate this. So take this item column and replicate it, and all I have to do is to change the data. So I'll say total value locked, and we have to simply slice it to 12. So there is it. Now I have to render one more, so I can simply copy this one, I can paste here, and this time is going to be we'll call this, let's say, symbol, and remove this one. There is the symbol. So things are looking good, and at the bottom we can simply display our footer. There it is. Now if I make on the big screen, you can see that's how it's going to look. Let's close this one, and here we have all the data. So no problem, we have, so far we got all the top 20 tokens, and user can simply put, and they can go to the different, and looks pretty good. Now I can simply type and I can search for the token. Okay, so there is a problem, it's called network. Okay, I have to change it, it's a token, not a network. So if I open this one, here you can see this is the problem we have. So let's we have the token, and this is the token, looks good. I can change this network to name. So this is the one. First let me check the spelling, is it right? So we have two lowercase, two lower case. Okay, it's fine, no problem in that. And this is good, this is also good. Let's change this to name, and change this to name, and save it, and that will fix the issue. Reload the page, come back to the top exchange token, and let's search it. So I'll take this USD, and there it is, we can easily able to search it. Let's type to something else, we'll take this wrap, this is all the wrap, and I can say ed, this is all that ETH, and there it is. So we can easily search, and we can simply copy, and you can see this is the address. Pretty beautiful. Hope you guys can understood that everything's working fine. So that's all good, simply copy and paste. That all the address is also looking fine. So we are done with this top exchange, and we have to do with the networks a lift, and now we have to start with the add token pair. So this is what we're going to work next. So this looks good. Now I can simply close this one, come back to the index page, and now we have to work on the add token pair. So user can come and simply add the token, and it will be reflect in our token pair list. So this is the component we have to work on now. So this looks good. Let me make side by side so we can see what we exactly working on. So this is what we're going to work on it. So let's make on side by side, drag it here. Let's start working on this. So first we have to import few things from React use state, and now we have to do the internal import. So we need the toaster so we can display our error or success message. Once we have that, now we can take this notification, and let's build this out. So we'll take a variable called notify error. It's gonna take the callback function, in that we have to pass the message, and it's that we have to simply provide the details to our provider. Toaster error, the message, and the duration. I'm going to go with the 2 seconds, simply replicate that, and this one is the success. So I'll call the success method, and I'll change the variable name to success. So this is the notification component for the error and for the success. Now I can come down here. Let's take a use state, the variable. So it's going to be called token, and it's going to be an object because we have to take the information from the user about the token which they want to store. So first thing is going to be the token 1, token 2, because we have to allow them to make the pair of the two token which they want to provide the trade. So this is the 1 token, 2 token, then we have to take the token address of 1 and the token address of 2, and we have to take the network, that which network they want to perform the trade. Then we have to take the fee, that how much the pool fee is. Then we have to take the buy amount, that what amount they want you to set. If that particular token reach that particular amount, they will buy the token. And then they have to take this target amount. So this particular price is the user will set if the amount will reach certain amount, so they can sell the token. So first one is the buy amount for buying, and the target amount is for selling the token. Because if you look at the liquidity pools, there is all of this data. They have the 2 token, they have the address, they have the network, they have the fee, because we have a multiple fee ratio, like like 330.330%, 1%, 0.005%. We have multiple ratio. So that's all data we are providing. And now we have to display this particular small message, this which they want to provide, so they can view that what strategy they have included for making the trade. So that these are the information we are taking from the user for creating the pair which they want to perform the automatic trade. And that's generally what happened when you will look at the other trading bots like in the Binance and other trading application which you will find. So these are the information we have in the token. Now we can come back here. Looks good so far. And now we can come back here in the component, and I can go back to this particular one called sign up. And here we have built this particular function called handle form field change. So this is the one we need to update our token variable. So simply paste here, and all we have to do is to change the token, and we have to change this set token, and that looks fine. Got this function. Now what we can do is let's try to so we got this function. Let's build a function which allows us to save this particular pair, the token which the user wants to save. So it will call this token store token, and inside that we're gonna let's make on the big screen, because this is the function we have to build. There's no involvement of the front end. Definitely we'll switch back to the front end pass as well. So come here, we'll take a variable, and first we have to deconstruct all the data. So we want to take the token 1, token 2, token address 1, address 2. We need the network, fee, message. So these are the information we are getting from the token. Now we can simply check whether the user have provided all of this information or not. Token 1, token 2, token address 1, address 2. We'll have the network, we'll have the fee, and we'll have the message. So if user not provide any one of this information, we have to throw this error message, and we have to fail the function. So we have to simply return, and we'll take this notify error component, and in that we have to simply pass the message to provide all details. So user has to provide all of this detail, then they can successfully save this token which they want to save. Now if they provide all the details, we have to simply save it. So let's take a variable called let token array. The reason why I'm taking this strategy is because when the user will save for the very first time, there is no data available in the local storage, because all of this data is storing in the local storage. So first we have to check whether the data is exist in the local storage or not. If it's not exist, we have to store it, but if it exists, we have to simply push as a form of array. So that's why I'm taking this particular variable token array. Instead that, we're going to simply push and store all the token list, because user can have multiple tokens pairs. Let's take a variable called this token list, and first we'll try to get the information from the local storage. We'll take this local storage get item, and I have to provide this. So this is the token pair, the key name which we have given. If I take you here in the trade token, that's the name I have given, set token, and that's what I'm simply providing here. So in that way we'll have the data available in the local storage. And here I have to build a condition. We'll say if there is a list, token list means the token is available in the local storage, then we have to simply call all of these things. So we'll take this token array, and we have to simply get this JSON parse local storage get item, and we have to get this set tokens. We'll get the tokens. Once we have that, we have to simply take this token array, and we have to call this push method, and I have to simply pass this token the information. Then I have to simply store this data, the newly array, into our local storage. So we'll take this set tokens, and we'll pass JSON.stringify, and we'll pass the array token array. Pretty simple function. I hope you guys have understood that what logic we are following. First we are creating an empty array, then we are fetching the available data in the local storage, and if there is a len, then this is the action we have to perform. We have to simply store it, then we have to push into the array, then we have to store that particular array in the local storage. That's pretty simple. So this is the first thing. Once it's went successful, we have to simply reload the window. Or I can do one thing, let's reload the window, and we can take this message and we can display the success message. So this is the one we have, notify success, and that's what we can simply call it, and we'll say like token added successfully. And after that we can reload the window, or I can simply remove this. You don't need to reload. So this is the first if statement. Else we have to simply store the information. So simply take this one and paste here. So this condition will run when there is no data is available in the local storage. So that's fine. So this is the only thing we have to do. Got it? Once we're done with that, now pretty good. I hope you guys have understood that what logic we have implemented. So it's a quite huge function. Getting this, then we are checking condition and then storing. Now we can start working on the JSX part. So let me split this screen, make it side by side, so we can see what exactly we are working on. Now we have to work on the JSX part. So let's take a class. It will have a tech web dash fn dash content. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called tech web dash fn dash page. Inside that we'll take the div. It will have a class called tech web dash fn dash content dash page. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called tech web dash fan dash page title. Inside that we'll take a h2. It will have a class called title, and we can display this title at trading token. There it is. So we got our heading. Now we can come back here. We'll take a div. It will have a class called, let's say, contact page. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called container small. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called fun dash contact dash form. Inside that we'll take a form element, and it will have a class called contact dash form. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class, let's say, input dash list. In that we'll take this ul. Inside that we'll have a li, and then we'll have the input type is going to be a text, and we'll say placeholder is going to be the native token name one. So always remember, we're going to have the native token first. Then we'll take this on change, and in that we have to simply call our handle form field function we have build, and in that we have to pass the name. So this is the one which we want to update, token one, and we'll pass the event. So far pretty simple. Now this is the first input component, you can see, and I can see there is a problem, and this is the one which we have to face. It's called form, form, not from. So we'll say form. There it is. Pretty beautiful. So this is the first input field. We have simply copy and replicate it couple of times, and all we have to do is to change the placeholder, and we have to change the name in the on change function. So this one is going to be address. We'll say address token one. Then we have to call this one as well. So this one is going to be name token name 2, and this is one is the token 2. Change this to token address 2. There it is, and change here as well. Once we got with both the token and their addresses, now we have to move here, and we have to change this to fee, and it's in the percentage. So that's the thing you have to keep in mind, and this will be the fee. This will be the token address 2, and we can come back here. This will be the network name, and this one is the network. This is the name we have given in our token, so make sure to give the exact name which we have provided in the tokens object. So let's replicate it 2 more times, and this will be the message. Sorry, by amount. We'll say by amount, and we'll have the target amount, target price, and this one is the target price, and that's the target price. Simply copy and replicate it. This will be the message, and this one is the message. Now we have to take one more, and this time is going to be the button. Let's change this input to text area for the message, and this one is going to be the button. So remove this input, and we'll take a div. It will have a anchor. Remove this. It will have a on click function, and on the on click function we have to simply call the function we have built. We'll say store token, and it will have a class called tech web dash fan dash button, and there it is. Now we can simply display the message. We'll take a span. It will say save token, and that's the only thing you have to do here. So that's the form component. And now we can simply come out of this just above the form closing tag, and we'll take a div. It will have a class called return message. So once it's successful, we have to return the message. We'll say data success, and it will be the thanks for submitting the form. Now we can simply come here. We'll take a div. It will have a class called fun dash dash space dash 30. We'll have some space from the bottom. Now we can come out of this disk, and this particular div is a block element. Now we'll take a HR for a horizontal line, and we'll have this data called height is going to be 2. Then we'll take a div. It will have a class called fun dash dash space dash 10, and it'll come out of div. We'll take a paragraph. We'll say kindly add your token which you want to use for automating trading. There it is. We got the name. So we have all of this. Let's make on the big screen, and we have all of this. So like you can simply switch back to this. User can click and they can provide all the tokens details, the 2 token details which they want to perform the swap. And I can see here it is the problem. It's called contact page. So we'll have some space. So make sure to do the changes. Contact page, and there is a space from the top. This is fine. Okay, this looks good. You can simply log out. Now here we have, so this is the token name one. We have the address, and let's try to perform the information. So this is the extra field I have. So this is the one. So let's remove that extra field. So this is the first token, and this first token address, and this is the first token. Yeah, this is the first token address, and here the third one is the extra one. So like this is the one. It's called, this is the one. Remove this one, save it. This is the second token and their address. So simply come here and let's call the token. I'll say USD. I'll paste the address which I have copied. Then I will take this BTC. I'll give the same address. It's just testing purpose, and I want to say the fee is going to be 3,000 because it's in the percentage. And I want to say network is going to be Polygon. I want to target the buy amount, just a random number, same for the target. And here I can display the message. So I'll say thanks for this. You can give whatever message you want to do when you are trying to build the strategy for your token. So you can take the reference when you will do the trade, and click on this save token, and there it is, token added successfully. If you reload the page, now if you go to this inspect element, and if you go back to the application, let's make it side by side. If you go to the console, there is the 20 token data, but we have to go into the application, the local storage, and there you will find the token we have stored. So here we have this, let's call this one set tokens, and this is the token we have stored. You can see all of this information is stored in the local storage, and now we can simply get this token to render and allow the user to simply find on the front end. So you can simply perform all of that. You can save as many tokens as you want. Let me create one more, just a dummy one. Let's give the price, Polygon. We have the buy amount, and we have the target amount, and we have the message. Thanks, save. The token is saved. Now we have to display all of the all the token which user will save for trade. That's all we have to reflect here in this trade token, and that's the one we're going to work next. So simply close this one, And now we have to work on the straight token. So this is what we're going to work on it. We have already built the functionality. All we have to do is to simply work on the JSX. So that's what we're going to work next. So let's make side by side so we can see what exactly we are working on. Let's drag it here and let's go back to the trade token. Here we are in the trade token. This is the trade token, and that's what we have to work now. Looks good. Now let's take a class. It will have tech web dash fun dash content. There it is. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called tech web dash fun dash page. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called tech web dash fun dash community dash page. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called fun dash dash title dash holder. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called container. In that, we'll take a h1. It will have a class called title, and we have to display the tokens. There it is. Now we got the token. Now we can come back here and we'll simply go to the component. So we already work on some of the functionality. So come back here in the top exchange token, and here we have this one. So just do one thing, simply close and copy this entire one. Copy it in the dialog, come back here and simply render this. So out of the div and simply paste here. And that's all we have. Now first thing, we have to get the icon. Simply copy this one, and that's what we have to import. So it's coming from the React icon. Let's give the name, and that's coming from React icon. We got that icon. Now let's see what else we have to get it. So here we have the input field. So this is fine, don't need to do any changes in here. So like this is good. Then we have the tokens. We don't need to do any changes. This is also fine. And here we have the key index. This looks good. No need to do any changes. And first we have to do the changes in the onClick function, because this time the data name is different. So simply cut this one and call this particular onClick function on the div, main div. And here we can take this set trade token. In that, we can take this token and we'll take this select token pair. In that, we can simply call the function. So it will automatically take that particular token. Now, once we're done with that, this is fine. And okay, let's see what else we can do. We can display the name. So just do one thing. Let's change this to network and remove this one and remove this as well. So this is the network, and instead of the turtle supply, we have the fee of the token. We have a lot of data, but here I'm going with this common data. So that one is for the mobile device. Now we have to work on the desktop. Now we can change this name. It's not top 20 tokens. We have to say tokens pair list, and here we'll say token pair list for the desktop. Done. Now we have to provide all the details. So remove this one, and first thing we have to display remove this network. Then we have to display change this particular function. So this is the function we have, and that's what we can simply paste here. So this is the function we have. Looks good. We have the set trade token and the pair, and we have to add one more. So this one is going to call set active, because when the user will click, we have to simply active that particular token. So looks good. Network is there, no problem in this. Here we have the item. Simply cut this, and this is what I have. So what else I can do the changes? So here we have the on click, and I can simply cut this and call on the main div. So here we have to call it. Okay, make sure to do the changes I'm doing. So this is the on click function, and this is the item column. Looks fine. Here we have the row. Simply cut this and paste down below here, so we can arrange in proper one. And here we can take this template and I will say item row, in case if we want to make it dynamic. So let's make it item row, and let's make it dynamic. So we'll say if active is equal to index plus 1, then we have to simply make this particular row active. So we'll add this pricing dash dash heading, else we don't need to add the classes. So this is dynamic class we have added. Now this is fine, and the network is good. Now we have to change this to token 1. This is going to be, remove this one, it will be token 2, and here we have this symbol, it will be the fee. So that's the changes you have to do. Make sure to do that, all of this. Simply reload the page, and here we are. Now we can go back to the trade token, and here we are getting this particular error is too many render, limited number of rendering. Okay, this is the error we are having. Okay, not a big deal. Let's try to find out that what mistake we have made. So here you can see we have this use effect, and here we have to simply call this because it's going to keep rendering. So save it. This is the one fix you have to do, and we can come back here and let's see. This is the data set. There's no problem in that. I can simply remove this because I don't want to have the logs. And let's do, we are still getting this two data. You can see we are successfully fetching the information from our local storage that pair user have created. So we have created this 2 pair, and that you will find all the information of the 2 pairs the user have created, but still we are getting this error. So let's try to find out, and that looks good. I'm having this issue. Now click here, still we are having the same error. Let's come back to the code and let me try to debug. So let's do one thing, let's comment this portion to see like in which component we are having the problem. If I go back to the mobile, it's absolutely fine. You can see the data is rendering there, means we have a problem in the data in the desktop component. So this is the 2 token data is displaying here. In the mobile is absolutely fine, but when it's come to desktop, it's not doing, it's not good. So simply uncomment this, and here we have this. This is good. Let's me close all of this div, and let's try to find out that which area we are having the issue. Close this one, and simply this is what we have. Let's assign a key index, and let's comment the div, and let's try to see, and I can see the problem. So this is the bracket. So this is the one we have the bracket. So simply cut this one and paste here, and this will fix the issue. Save it, and now we don't have any issue. So if I reload, come back here, you can see the token pair list and the line is working fine. Now we can simply uncomment this one, and we have the data. There it is. There it is. User can click and they can select. You can see our selecting is also working fine. So we are done with this. Looks pretty good. User can click and they can select the token which they want to trade and create the trading bot. So that looks fine to me. We can see easily able to render the data and we can display. Now we are done with this. Close this one, close this one, and we are done with the context as well. We have to work on the functionality. So come back here in the index. So we are done with that, and now we have to work on the network, because user going to select the network, they can create the network, and on the network which they want to perform the trading bot, they can simply select and they can simply run their bot. So that's what we're going to work next. So we are done with this token, add token pair, and these are the, we are done. Now we have to work on the networks, and we have to work on this trading. So we have so many works to do now. So that looks fine. This is the one we're going to work on. It's add network. So user can simply come and select the network image and the pair, all of these things. So come back here, close this one, go to this add network, because that's what we have to work. So this is the one we're going to work on. And I have noticed this one that it's not there here. So we have to attach this particular component. So let's do one thing. We have the network, but we don't have the add network component. So not a big deal. Let's create this, and here we can build this condition. We'll say active component equal to add network. Then we have to simply run the add network component, and we can remove this and format this one, provide this conditioning and save it. Looks good. And we can send the XCS package in case we want to make a API call. So that's looks good. Simply receive that one and save it. And with that, we have come to end of this video, and that's the only thing I want to cover in this video. I don't want to extend too long. In the next video, we're going to start working in our component. So let's move to the next video.